I was in a sorority too. I understand that the bonds of sisterhood run very deep.
In New York City, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. These are their stories.
All right, guys, welcome to yet another Munch My Benson, where every week we dive deep into the dark minds of SVU and recap and thoroughly dissect an episode from the longest running primetime TV drama in television history. My name's Adam Schwitters. I'm coming to you from Galveston, Texas. Joining me on the line is Josh. How you doing out there, Josh?
Oh, just locked down in room still.
Yeah, it's a thing. We're still locked down.
By the time this episode drops, we probably won't be anymore.
We might be re-locked down. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Anyways, you got anything to talk about? I'm ready to jump right into this episode.
Let's just do it.
This one was all right. It is called Consent. It's from season 2, episode 10. You want to give us the rundown on this one?
So, two on-campus runners complaining about classmates not carrying their weight find a bum, Harry, messing around in the bushes. In the bushes, our Vic. If you've watched an SVU, you know this guy isn't the perp, but we go down the path of investigating him first before we move on to the real investigation. Meanwhile, Benson is with the Vic while the rape kit is being carried out. The Vic is dissociative, and this seems to owe to her having been a virgin when raped the night before. So we quickly dive into the clandestine world of campus investigations of sexual assault, but this will not be the thrust of this episode. It seems evident from the onset of the investigation that the victim's hazy memory of events does not stem from her being out of control, and sure enough, a talk screen shows that she was roofied with GHB. This leads the team to focus on Beta, the rapiest of the rapers. They meet back up with Greek community exposition machine Michelle Monaghan in her second role ever. She dishes the dirt on her awful sisters. Those nasty girls dosed their sister Kelly and ushered her off to the gonorrhea factory known as Joe's bedroom, giggling about their love potion the whole way. Tess walks in on SVU, checking her workstation in the lab, Tess being one of the sisters, and she races off to her dorm room to find Benson and Stabler are there. Elliot's got her notebook with a GHB formula and arrests her on the spot. When they question her, they set a trap for her to call her accomplice at the sorority house. Her accomplice is caught red-handed trying to dispose of the chemicals. Finn and Munch bust her with the help of Michelle Monaghan. We then find out that Joe totes gave our Vic the clap, but this wasn't his semen in the rape kit. They come to Wally, played by Wet Hot American Summer's Zach Orth, who eventually comes clean that they had what he believed to be consensual sex, and that Kelly kissed him to initiate the proceedings. Unfortunately, she has no memory of this because she was dosed. The grand jury comes back and exonerates the boys, who couldn't be proven to have known that she'd been drugged, but Kelly's sisters are going to be charged with possession of a controlled substance. Benson breaks this news to Kelly, cushioning the blow with the information that at least all four were expelled from the university. We then find out that Kelly hadn't taken the morning after pill, and she worries that she might be pregnant in another instance in which Benson abstains from getting into the murky autobiographical abortion waters with a victim.
Yeah, that sounds about right. To me, this was like one of those kind of professional but not outstanding classic era episodes. I mean, it was well done. I don't have huge problems with it, but at the same time, it didn't leave me shocked or stunned at the very end.
Yeah, there's nothing super salacious. I mean, it's basically sort of drilling down into the, moral implications of what is and is not consent.
We were in college at roughly this era, right
Pretty
around
much exactly right then.
Turn of the century, exactly. And I do remember, that subject came up, what was considered consent. So it was clearly, an on-the-mind topic back then, because it was a new thing to have to think about. I think it was a strange thing to think that people would actually have to agree to have sex with you in those days, I suppose, which seems a little bit strange now, but
it definitely, what a difference 20 years makes.
Yeah, no doubt. It did have some fun moments. I guess we can kind of go into some of them. The way SVU treats homeless people is really something.
Anybody else around? It's this little creep who loiters around campus.
What's he look like?
Greasy hair, wears an old army coat, took off the minute he spotted us.
Yeah. I mean, that homeless guy, like these privileged little shitbirds, the students at... I thought it was Hudson, but it's Hanford when I talked about it in the last episode.
Oh, it wasn't Hudson U?
No, it was Hanford, which is not Hudson, sadly.
Interesting.
We'll tread on Hudson's hallowed grounds a lot in this series.
Yeah,
this is
no
Hanford.
doubt. No, that's interesting because it's shot at all the same locations that Hudson is shot at. There was definitely locations at Columbia University that I could tell that I recognized. And, Hudson is like a composite school of like basically every single New York City area college. And so when they show up, you assume it's that.
Obviously, the instant that there's a university employee on screen, they're going to give the unit grief.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like in SVU world, universities exist to cover up sexual assaults.
Yeah, that's basically the main reason you go to college is to cover up sexual assault. And,
to be fair, it's not really that far from the truth, though.
I mean, yeah, no doubt, right? I think Jameis Winston was in the news today, speaking of.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
So yeah, let's get back to that episode. So yeah, great line about the homeless guy.
Hey, there's that bum again. What's he up to?
Oh, he's fertilizing the bushes.
That one really stood out to me. I mean, he was leaned over forward, so I don't know,
Oh yeah, he's a front lean shitter.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing the math like I was Charlie from It's Always Sunny, like trying to figure out how he's taking a dump in the bushes, leaning forwards.
Jesus Christ. Again, this is Michelle Monaghan. It's the second time she's ever been on screen.
She is, to be clear, she's the good friend of the good sorority sister of the rape victim, who's played by Tammy Blanchard.
Really love Michelle Monaghan in general.
Yeah.
She, since we were just talking about Jameis Winston,
yeah.
She went to the same high school as second overall pick of the 2004 NFL draft, Robert Gallery. It's interesting because they're both from a town of like 800 people.
Huh.
They're like 4 years apart in high school.
So it must have good genes in that town.
I think they're the only two famous people from there.
That's still a lot for that many people.
Oh, yeah. And town of 800, and you have Michelle Monaghan, who's had a pretty
solid, good career. Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
solid career. Probably one of the better ones we've had so far. I mean, I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah. Now, the Tammy Blanchard character kind of makes some... Well, let's just say, it's not really her fault. It's definitely like the way the writers wrote this show. There's some outdated notions of virginity that show up in this episode that I found fairly problematic. First off, we're supposed to sympathize with her for being raped because she's a virgin, she says in just like the shittiest accent. I don't even know where it's supposed to be from, but...
This is a high dose of oral contraceptives.
Birth control pills?
The doctor found semen.
What?
The rapist didn't use a condom.
No.
The pills will prevent pregnancy. We'll also give you an antibiotic for any STDs that may have been transmitted.
No. No, I can't.
You can't what, Kelly?
I can't deal with this.
Okay, sweetheart, you don't have to decide right now.
But you will have to within the next day or two, or the regimen will be ineffective.
You don't understand. I'm a virgin.
As if it wouldn't be that bad if she weren't a virgin was the kind of implication I was getting from that line.
That is a weird implication. Obviously, like, it sucks. I'm not saying that it wouldn't suck to have your first sexual experience be that, but like, we should be fucking bummed out that anyone got raped.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. And then later on, like, Benson has a whole thing with like, Doc confirms semen and a torn hymen. Victim's still a little vague on the details, which is like, it's like a medieval idea of what virginity is, that you have to get your hymen, checked out to confirm that you're a virgin. This is not how it works in the 21st century.
Right.
And so that made me a little, I skipped over my favorite part with the hobo. So first off, the hobo does not look homeless when you actually zoom in on him. No. He is not very well dressed up. He looks like a middle-class white guy who just came out of Whole Foods, like most homeless people do in SVU. But when Munch tracks him down to try to get his side of the story, he's eating, I guess they're pancakes. I didn't really get it, out of the trash. They look in pretty good shape. Munch says, Want some syrup with those flapjacks there, Slappy?
When he called him Slappy, I was just like, what the fuck? God damn it.
That might be my favorite part of the whole episode, that Slappy line.
I like when we go back and talk to her. She starts talking about they were at the college keg. But before we even go there, you know that every bad night ever has started there.
And let me say that it lives up to its name and our implied reputation. This might be the rapiest bar in New York City. I mean, the bartender that we meet is like 100% behind date rape. Might be the most pro date rape character we've had in one of these shows.
He's got to show up as a perplater, right?
I mean, it's shocking.
It's the babe.
Who?
Bets me a 20 against a free beer that he can call a home run at the top of the night, like Babe Ruth in the World Series. Points at a girl. If he bags her, he wins.
What's his batting average?
He drinks a lot more than he pays.
You ever take a swing at this one?
The other night, she walked in with a couple other hotties. Joe was sitting here with his sidekick.
Hank?
Yeah. Joe picked her out and laid down his bet. Only this time, he bets me a 50 against the pitcher.
Getting cocky?
Ain't cocky if you deliver.
Did he deliver with this one?
Half hour later, he's walking her out the door. I'm telling you, guy's got an eye for the long ball.
Babe Ruth didn't call that shot in the bottom of the ninth.
I know, it's complete bullshit. It's ahistoric bullshit that Babe Ruth called that shot. It always upsets me when they bring it
it's
up.
entirely apocryphal, too. He didn't actually call a shot, but whatever.
He didn't call the shot. There's video of that game. He didn't call any shot. Certainly not like The Natural or anything.
He was pointing at the dugout and talking shit.
Oh, yeah. Another thing about this episode that I really liked, it let me go back to my favorite website, the psychonautwiki.org, which is, just the best researched website I've ever been on. Of course, because GHB has a lot to do with this episode. It took me there. One thing I'll note from here, so this is quoting psychonautwiki.org. GHB, along with GBL, has acquired a reputation as a date rape drug in which it is purportedly secretly placed into alcoholic drinks. There is, however, very limited evidence to suggest that this actually happens, but care should always be taken when accepting drinks from strangers, which I found interesting.
But are you sure that that's not from the pro-date rape lobby trying to get more people roofied?
I will say that this website does promote safe drug usage as far as that is. It tells you what drug combinations you should avoid. However, it is definitely very much a pro-drug use website as far as I can tell. But one other little note, when they do find out that it is the sorority sisters that are responsible, and Elliot and Benson go to track them down, and Elliot's holding up the journal that has a diagram of the molecular structure of the drug, that's not GHB. It would have been really easy for them to Google what it actually looks like. That was some other kind of organic compound, I'm sure, but GHB is a much more simple shape. It almost looks kind of like the constellation Scorpio, if you guys are familiar with that one. But that's all my psychonaut.org notes that I have.
Should we talk about the Greek scene on campus?
Yeah, the Greek scene on campus is dark. It is fucking dark, man.
Okay, so Beta, according to the campus security guy, who's going to try to be a G-man.
He is.
According to him, Beta House is the rapiest of the frats.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
At Minnesota, which is where I did my undergrad, at Minnesota, Beta was totally the douchiest frat. So that tracks completely, in my experience. Like, the douchebaggiest of the douchebag frats was Beta. We also have, like, the instant we meet Jody and Tess, is there any doubt in your mind that they're the perps?
I know, they're such bitches, man.
Oh, yeah. Like, the instant you meet these two girls, you're like, no, these two did it.
So one of the subplots in this is that all these kids are super privileged, and most of them have gotten off with other rapes, either implied or actually accused, because the campus essentially wants them to get off and has like an arbitration system which keeps them from actually serving any time or seeing any real punishment, which is pretty fucked up.
Their desire to have them get off plays out two ways. They like them getting off, and then they like them getting off for getting off.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. So we get to see some privileged rich kids, which we always like to see the privileged rich kids go down. I was really kind of wishing there was more of a harder core arrest scene for the two schmucks, Joe and whatever his little buddy were. Other notes I have, Marika Dominchik, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm not really sure. She's one of the prior victims of Joe the rapist.
Well, he gave her the clap.
He gave her the clap. slap. Yeah.
I don't believe he was to have assaulted her. That swimmer, he definitely raped.
He definitely raped the swimmer. Yeah, he gave the girl gonorrhea.
Well, and he knocked up the swinger. Or the swimmer.
Yeah, I know. He knocked up the swimmer. I was just shocked at how short that actress is. She is tiny. She came up like barely above Christopher Meloni's belly button. She was extremely small.
Not a swimmer's body.
No, definitely not. Swimmers usually have very broad shoulders because, well, that's what happens when you swim back and forth a lot. Your shoulders get big. She did not. That was just a small note I had. Let's see. There were some fun lines in this. You know, obviously, I think my favorite part was the Slappy line about the flapjack Slappy. But another one I really liked was about the gonorrhea. You know, it's one of these, you can't say that anywhere else on television.
Final labs from Kelly's rape kit. In addition to semen, the rapist left behind another little gift, gonorrhea.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Just something you don't say that on any other show on television, guys. No. It is an unusual place. In my mind, usually in SVU, the most famous sort of potential perp is the one who did it. And so far, it really hasn't played out that way. We had Kyle Gallner, who didn't do the crime in a couple episodes ago. Yeah, this time, I really thought it was going to be Zach Orth. I was like, oh, now they've focused on Zach Orth. It's going to be him. He's clearly the famous one. And no, it wasn't.
I remembered too much about this episode. I remembered it way too well.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't help but feel bad for him the whole time because I knew that he was sort of like the sad sack who thought that he'd had like a consensual sexual experience after she was raped.
Now, I will quote Alexandra Cabot here.
She kissed me.
And you took that kiss as the green light to go ahead.
She never said no.
Her shirt was stained with vomit. Her hair was matted. Her eyes were blurry. And you still thought she wanted to have sex?
Yes.
I guess it was just your lucky night.
I mean, I get it. This is about the blurry lines of college consent.
I drank a lot in college. The vomit is like a bridge too far. But like other than that, I could see how it would otherwise play out in a way that enough that I feel bad for.
But I've never made out with somebody who just puked because that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that's super gross. Do you ever wonder if maybe this episode was why Chris Meloni's in Wet Hot?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
I can't remember. Wet Hot was probably actually shot before this. Maybe that's why Zach Orth is in this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was supposed to come out right at 9/11. So we're about a year out from that. So I'm guessing Meloni probably shot in between seasons 1 and 2, but I can't remember 100%. They had to have. They couldn't have shot the movie.
That would have been a few weeks of filming that he was on.
Yeah, and it rained like the whole time. And they had to shut down production for a bar mitzvah. Like some kid, really? some kid rented out the camp for his bar mitzvah, and they had to shut down production for a little while because of it.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah, well, they slept at the camp.
That's fun.
The cast slept at the camp. It was like summer camp.
And that's probably why they're so like willing to come back for all the kind of various reunion shows that they've done. Yeah.
I went to a show at the Greek. Pretty sure it was national, but I've been to quite a few shows there. But I went to a show at the Greek and Zach Orth sat right behind me.
Nice. There are some other good lines that I have to point out. You know, this is when they're still kind of figuring out. They're assuming that Joe, the rapey frat guy, did it.
Serial rapist Joe Templeton, whose dad is basically Fred Trump, and this is Donald Trump.
And the thing is, the dad really threatened Cragen and then just dropped it. And that didn't come back. I was waiting for some fireworks to go on, have his people firing lines out at Alexandra Cabot, but that just didn't happen.
Well, Cragen lit him up right away. He's like, fuck off.
Yeah, he did give him the old fuck off. But Joe says,
yeah, she had the hot ticket, and I would have been happy to punch her for her if she hadn't have puked all over the floor. Kind of put the old muzzle on Mr. Happy, if you know what I mean.
Anybody witness this fateful hurl?
Oh, yeah, sure. We set up bleachers and charged admission.
What did you do after the wind went out of your little sail?
I left her on my bed to sleep it off, and I went downstairs to crash on the sofa.
Who talks like this?
It's like he stepped in from like a 40s hard-boiled crime
I know.
piece of fiction.
I know. And then a little bit later, like the next scene, Finn going to real victim shaming.
Word on campus was she was doing a lot of practicing for her oral exam.
Whoa, so she deserves to be raped? We don't even know if those rumors are true.
Yeah, but witnesses said she came on to Joe.
No, witnesses said she flirted.
A lap dance sends a pretty strong signal.
She was drunk.
So is he.
So that excuses it?
No, but her behavior's open to interpretation.
She might have played it out and woke up with a case of buyer's remorse.
So now we're blaming the victim?
Which is, oh, God.
Yeah, the immediate victim shaming and slut shaming that Stabler and Finn jump into before Benson just shuts him down.
Yeah.
You're just like, what the?
At
Stabler
point,
should not be engaging in this at all.
No, yeah.
Finn's new to the unit.
Okay, yeah, Finn's new to the unit. Stabler also has, 4 daughters or something that come back a million times. He's the, seasoned pro on the unit. He would be the least likely to say shit like that. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Dick Wolf. I called this a mix emotions Dick Wolf, because at the very end of the episode, the girl is realizing that she has to own up to her responsibilities and tell her parents that she's going to have a child that is the product of rape. But the weird thing about it is that she's kind of I don't know, excited about having the kid, I guess is how I would say it. There's a weird note there that is unsettling, but somewhat helpful, I would say.
I don't know. I can't say I like the end of this episode. The last scene. It's just another instance in which Olivia is basically sitting there, I can't give you advice. And the unsaid sentence is, I'm a product of rape.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was clearly there just for Olivia to make a note that she had been raped, but without actually using it to identify with her victim at all. So we got that out of there. Really, as far as the New York stuff goes, not much in this. The only address shown is the bar, and it's plausible. It's close enough to Columbia that it's not out of the question that it would be a college bar. It's probably a little bit too far, but not crazy. There's not a bar right there, but that doesn't mean there couldn't be, and there couldn't have been 20 years ago. Let's just get into rating this thing. I feel like this episode was kind of a weird episode considering it had a lot of salacious lines in it. It was in some ways kind of a dud for me. It didn't really fire me up too much, except for the crazy shit at the bar. That was probably my favorite part of the whole thing, the rapey comments from the bar owner.
Yeah, the guy is...
That's just not right,
He's probably handing out doses of GHB.
Seriously, I've never heard a bartender promote sexual assault in that same way.
And he starts by complaining about college students. He starts by complaining about them, and then he's like, "Oh, the babe." It's what the fuck? Why? Yeah. I don't even understand why you'd even engage in these bets. You initially have disdain for all of your clientele, and then but this guy's the best.
But I'm giving this kid free drinks more often than not. What bartender is giving out free drinks to a fucking rich douchebag, It doesn't, whatever.
It's rough.
Whatever. So let's get into ranking this thing. I think we can start there, and if we have some other ideas that come up from it. So every week we rank these episodes. We do it on a 10-point scale, 1 to 10, 1 being not great at all, being terrible rather, 10 being outlandish and really exciting. We do it on the quality of the show overall. We do it on the guests that are appearing in it and their performances, how problematic it is, how much it upset you and made you kind of swallow a cough here and there, things like that. Problematic is good in the world of SVU. And then finally, how deeply the characters' lives are ruined. Let's start with that last one. Honestly, the rape victims' lives were definitely deeply affected.
And there are at least 2.
Another weird thing this episode does is, it being a show written by people who have been writing about sex crimes now for almost, 1.5 seasons by the time this episode aired. They don't really seem to understand the mechanics of rape too much, because there's multiple times where they say to victims who were drugged, well, how did you even know you were raped? And I'm going to go on a limb here and say that you'd know, because something happened that was probably extremely uncomfortable and not very pleasant. And so that was kind of disturbing. But in the world of SVU, I'm saying that they don't know. So the only experience they have of finding out this is the child that they get afterwards, which in this case, she wanted to keep the child. I don't know. Did you think their lives were deeply ruined, Josh? I'm kind of on the fence about this.
I mean, I think Zach Orth's character Wally, he's expelled. I mean, it's not like he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But he's also sort of, at least...
His biggest crime is kind of being awkward, though, and not really understanding the way people ought to talk to each other.
He clearly doesn't have a ton of experience sexually.
So we definitely feel for him, and we feel for the two rape victims, for sure.
Right.
And the countless other rape victims of Joe Templeton's wild path through northern Manhattan.
There's no way he doesn't come across Stabler and Benson's desks again. This guy's a serial rapist.
Yeah, but maybe he'll go up to New Hampshire or something for his next college go-round. So what do you want to say? You want to say like 6 on the ruination score?
Well, we don't have a count on how many people Joe raped.
Yeah.
Although, if we factor in the bar, that bar is like Rape Central also. And that bartender is definitely like ruining lives.
It sure is. And both of those, the sorority and the fraternity, are definitely ruining people's lives. That's why I give it above a 5.
Yeah, I felt like she was sort of almost on the fence about the kid, but, that kid's gonna have a fucked up life too.
Yeah, of course the kid's gonna be fucked up. But I don't know. That girl seemed to have nice parents. She was chaste. I'm sure the kid will grow up in a loving home. So I'm saying 6. I'm not budging above 6.
No, I was thinking maybe lower, but... Because no one dies.
No one does die. You're right. It's not like there was permanent damage. You're talking me into a 4 right now.
I'd go down to a 4.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, because SVU, shit can get a lot more fucked up than this.
Yeah, shit happens every episode. That is absolutely true. Okay, so how problematic was this episode for you? Did it stand out? I had some big problems.
Anti-homeless.
In
a way that's really
fucked up. Yeah, it's really fucked up. The medieval notions of virginity are also pretty fucked up.
Complete with a bloody sheet. We got the bloody sheet that the prince would put on display once he's...
Yeah, no, we didn't just get the bloody sheet. There's like a 5-minute long scene where they're standing right next to the bloody sheet with the sheet in the center of the frame. Yeah, so that was pretty fucked up. And how gleeful that bartender was about basically being... the first stop on the rape train, that was pretty problematic. Again, I'm not going too high because...
The university's willfully covering this shit up too. That's problematic in a way that's engaging for the viewer.
That's true. However, again, this being SVU, I mean, we're talking about a show where they discuss child rape regularly. It's not quite to the level of disturbingness that I need to see to give it a really high ranking.
No, it's not crazy high, but it's...
Yeah.
It's firmly 5 or 6, I think.
I'd say 5. It's problematic. It has some fun moments, but it's not disgusting, and it's not, it's not... it would carry a trigger warning, but just one trigger warning.
Yeah, it's not disgusting in the way we want it to be.
Yeah, so, okay, let's say 5.
Okay.
The guest stars, I thought the guest stars were good.
I really love Michelle Monaghan.
Yeah,
she's one of my favorite actresses.
And Zach Orth really played his part well. To me, I mean, I know who they are, but they're not extremely famous, so it's not getting the highest marks for me. But it is a good one. I'm giving it, I don't know, 6 or 7, something like that.
I'm fine with 6.
Okay, great. And then overall quality, this is kind of where it just kind of falls a little flat for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
It's definitely not bad.
It's definitely in that mid, again, probably a 5.
Yeah.
It's not oh fuck, this one's great. But it is by the standards of SVU, it's definitely a competent episode. It's not one that you're sitting through with pain.
That's true. Let's give it a 6 because it is definitely a professional episode. All the performances are fine. The direction is fine. It's written pretty well. It just doesn't really stand out from the haze. And I guess we've been doing enough of these early episodes that we've kind of gotten spoiled by competent, good episodes. And so, yeah, so that gives us, it's a classic, that era. It gives us a composite score of 5.25, which really is, I think that sounds about right to me. It was average. It was one of those ones that's in the height of the show. They're kind of just throwing these out every week. Again, the thing that really makes me want to talk about this show is that what does it do to a person's psyche to be writing about this content week in, week out for a 23-week run show? It's really got to wear on you.
Think about Neil Baer.
I mean,
he must have completely cracked. He ran this show for 11 years. He ran this from
know.
season 2 to season 12.
Olivia Benson, the Mariska Hargitay character, has been on the show for 22 seasons. Hargitay's had to read these lines for over 470 times so far. She makes a lot of money, and that's fantastic. But money. Goodness, that's gotta wear on you.
I believe the only actress making more than her on television is Ellen Pompeo.
Really?
Yeah. It's definitely like they're both in the over $500,000 per episode, and they both get producer fees and shit like that.
Nice.
But I know Pompeo is making. Yeah. I think Pompeo last I saw was making like $25,000 more an episode than Hargitay.
That kind of makes sense too, though. But yeah, you got any closing notes on this one, Josh?
We had Robin Paul, who played Jody. I think both of the really shitty sorority sisters were actually pretty good.
Yeah, they immediately read shitty sorority bitches, basically.
They ooze like someone who would dose their sister. But she was, right around this time, she was on Ed.
Okay.
And she was the like prettiest girl at Stuckyville High, who was sort of the object of Justin Long's affection on the show.
Nice.
And I thought I would drive that home for you because I know how much you love Justin Long.
I don't have a huge problem with Justin Long. He just accused me of stealing his camera case once. And so I have a small grudge, but otherwise he was fine.
He also had that, oh God, it's probably, I don't want to say the email address, but the email address that he put on that rental form was
extremely problematic.
That was fantastic. That was like the best presumably fake email address I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put it out there because if he actually does use that email address, I don't want to ruin it for him.
That would be hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I think we're ready to sign up for our next episode.
Oh, 1 second. Tammy Blanchard?
Yeah.
She played Scott Hatterberg's wife on Moneyball.
We want you to play first base for the Oakland A's. Okay, well, I've only ever played catcher.
Scott, you're not a catcher anymore. If you were, our call wouldn't have been the only one you got when your contract expired.
Yeah, hey, listen, no, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
But the thing is,
you don't know how to play first base. Scott?
That's right.
It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. And she was in The Invitation, too. She was like one of the main cast in The Invitation, which is this really great low-key horror movie.
Nice. It was a little confusing because Tammy Blanchard and Michelle Monaghan look a lot alike in this time period.
They really frumped up Michelle Monaghan because at this time she's actually like a model.
Yeah,
like she was a runway model when she started getting cast on TV. She was going for journalism at Columbia College in Chicago, and she left school because she was helping to pay for school with modeling, and then ended up like she was just making too much from modeling and dropped out.
No, but again, I mean, this episode was very professional. I mean, they came across as who they were supposed to be. They all struck me as, sorority chicks, and didn't even have to question it.
We do have to question, however, Benson was in a sorority?
That's right. Yeah, she
said
did mention
she said she was in a sorority, and I was sitting there like, nah.
No, there's no way, man. Nope. There's no way Benson would be in a sorority. It's just like it doesn't track with her character.
That does not compute her.
No, not like loner with product of rape who is hell-bent to seek justice for the rest of her life. She is not the joiner of a sorority.
Right.
Elliot Stabler definitely would be in a frat. That he's about the only one that I see really being in a frat.
I don't know that he would either because I feel like he's probably working class enough that he'd have a chip on his shoulder about it.
Yeah, it depends on where he went to school, right? So, if he was at like Rutgers or something, I could see him being in a frat. But if he was like at a fancier school, not a state place, maybe not.
I went to a state school in the North and the frat scene was not.
That's true. The frat scene is so douchey.
Yeah. The South, it's more ubiquitous and more inescapable.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
In the North, you have to opt into that. You're a nut job who opts into a frat. The North isn't as like sort of generationally striated.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's get out of this episode. Yeah. This was fine, but just boring, kind of, compared to what we look for. So let's roll the next one.
Oh, I hate that part.
All right, I fired up the randomizer, and it is giving me episode 152, which is an episode called Blast. It is from season 7, episode 13. And I can read you the short summary of this one. The team investigates when young Carly Hunter disappears while walking home from school one day. While processing evidence found at the scene, Warner realizes that the little girl has leukemia and they need to get her home as soon as possible to begin treatment. Despite the ransom drop going wrong, the detectives are able to find the little girl thanks to the evidence found at the scene, but as she tells her story to Stabler and her mother, it becomes clear that her kidnapper is someone very close to home. So that sounds like a fun one.
Yeah,
We'll see how that goes.
I have no recollection of this episode.
I might be remembering it, but I could be remembering wrong. But it sounds like it is a Emmy Warner-centric episode, which I am a huge fan of.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, that one should be fun. So yeah, we'll see you next time, guys. Until then.
Vaya con Dios.
You want some syrup with those flapjacks there, Slappy? What do you got?
Used condom, handbag with victim's hairbrush and ID, and this scarf.
Styling.